And I'm like, you fuckers, can we just have a normal conversation? Or do you have to just constantly be witty and so cool?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That is Eric over there.
Hello.
And that is Vanessa over there.
Hello.
I am Kelly. You guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. When I lived in the old apartment, you remember my mail slot was just this tiny little thing. If I couldn't get a letter into it, they would just give me a pink slip, and I'd get home and I'd see this pink slip, and I'd be like, "I've got mail." I've got mail. Who doesn't love getting mail, right?
Yes.
Because it was always a package, right?
Yeah.
It was one of these, which showed up on my
hey.
door today or yesterday.
Oh.
Weird.
Now the problem is here I can get packages.
Yeah.
And here I am, an adult who owns a small company, and I got this that says there is a letter waiting for me that requires a signature.
Uh-oh.
And now I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want this fucking thing. I don't know what this is.
God.
So
It's
what
like,
have I done wrong that requires me to sign for a letter?
I feel like if you get served, it has to be presented by a person.
yes.
Well, not
I think
serve,
so.
but the IRS could certainly be sending me something and going, hey,
Well, then you know who to contact for that.
that's true. That's
you got
true.
backup for that.
But still, I was like, this can't be anything good.
No, probably not. It's sort of like a far more exaggerated version of like the spam bullshit you get. My favorite one I've been getting very regularly is your Amazon has been frozen.
Oh.
And I like the one where I've got a series of emails where the email that I received just after that one was your order from Amazon is being sent. Like,
Yeah, totally.
Bad timing spammers.
Oh my God. Yeah. They're getting a little clever, but I just assume that pretty much anything unexpected is fake.
Yeah.
So like I'm going to be in real trouble if UPS ever actually needs me to like confirm a package.
Yeah, no kidding.
I get that one all the time,
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
That's a common one.
Yeah.
And actually that one's very annoying right now because I'm switching addresses.
Oh.
So like, and I noticed that like when you're doing Blu-ray, sometimes you're pre-ordering 2-3 months in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to change my address, but there's, this was the address you had when you ordered it. I'm going, it's not the address I have now. Luckily, I can still get shit there, but man, that's
Right,
going to be
right.
tough in a little bit.
Ugh. Man, just get
Yeah.
the forwarding. Just get that forward set
Oh, we
up.
do, but it's not working.
What?
For like 2 weeks, we got the little, the little yellow stickers,
Yeah.
and they stopped showing up. And I'm getting regular mail addressed to Dean and I at the old address again. So I've got to figure out what happened there.
Yeah, that's supposed to last for a year when
okay.
you do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not 7 days.
Oh my
Right.
God. That's
Right.
so weird.
Welcome to Mail Talk.
That's right. MAIL.
Our
Damn
special
right.
guest today is a female.
Female male talk. No.
All right, guys. It's going to be a wacky show. I have thoughts on a
Sort of.
movie I just watched
Oh.
called Section 31,
Movie.
Star Trek.
Oh,
Is
okay.
it a movie rather
Hour
than a
and
show?
36 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you didn't know this? If you go onto the Strange Eons Radio Talk page on Facebook, we discussed this. I popped the trailer on there. It is a new Paramount Plus movie.
I thought it was a show.
Well, regardless of what you think it is,
Sure.
what you don't want to actually do is watch this horrific pile of shit.
Oh,
It's getting savaged. I mean, that's not unusual for Star Trek or Star Wars, but it seems to be getting savaged by people that like Star Trek.
It's because it's got what's his name behind it, like gold whatever. Like like there's the people who are behind Star Trek who are cool people, like Terry, what's his name? And then there's the bad motherfuckers who everything they touch turns to ash.
I'm assuming you're like this is a Discovery
Yes.
people, and this is the Pike people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this
Not
is
even Pike,
connected to Discovery,
Yeah.
of course.
Of course. Yeah.
She
Hey,
was
do
a
something for me
captain.
right now. Is the Strange New Worlds a Discovery timeline show?
Yes.
And Discovery timeline is different from the original
Yes.
series
It's a
timeline.
unique of
But
its
also,
own.
J.J. Abrams is different from the
Yes,
original
that's
series.
the Kelvin.
So there's 3 different timelines in the Star
At
Trek
least.
universe.
Yeah, Lower Decks addresses this in the last little
right.
bit of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this was part of my confusion because I don't watch Discovery.
Aha.
And I was like, well, what fucking point in time in the series does this take place? None of this shit
Mystery.
makes any sense. And
Why are you alive? Why are you dead? Who are you?
the problem with this movie is not that it looks cheap, because it does,
Okay.
Oh wow.
and not that the acting is really bad, because it is,
Yeah.
but because the writing, they have decided that they're going to do the Marvel version of a Star Trek movie,
shit.
complete with stupid puns. Vanessa, big fan, I know. And there is a segment there where they argue over the meaning of a particular word. Now I can't remember what it is, like before or something like that.
Jesus.
And I was just kind of watching this with my mouth hanging open, going, what just happened? I thought Strange New Worlds was the best fucking thing Star Trek has done in forever.
that's
and
true.
Oh.
why are we still now going back to bad Star Trek?
It's because of the people who are trying to run Star Trek and their ideas as to what will be successful. And the disco people are the same people who did Section 31. And it sucks because I don't know. Like, I watched enough Discovery to see them fuck over Michelle Yeoh,
Yeah.
who would have been an incredible fucking captain. And they just,
She's the lead in this movie.
I know, but they made
They
her a
made
different
her-
character.
Yeah, they
quite
made her
bad.
really
They-
weird.
They
She's
killed
awful.
her and then brought her back as an alternative universe from the what's the dark Star Trek
Oh, mirror, mirror.
mirror universe. So she's mirror universe of the cool ass character she was.
I see.
But they don't know what to do with that because they had her on long enough because she was a popular character that they're like, well, you can't just be evil. You've also got to be kind of cool and good, but you're Mirror. But we got to keep having you on the show,
Yeah.
so we're gonna make you likable Mirror, which is some horrible bullshit writing. They should have just had her straight up evil and then killed her again or something.
Was that in the last season of Discovery? Or...
No, that was ongoing.
Because I didn't watch the last season.
Oh no, it was before the last season. Yeah, they
I remember
they
her
had brought her back for a
changing
while.
and going, "This is a
It was
dumb
weird.
move."
And then Section 31 was fucking weird.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know. Like, I was not looking forward to this thing because I saw the trailer. I guess I didn't realize it was a
Just a
spin-off
movie.
film.
Just a movie. Now, it does feel like it's a
God.
pilot movie or something, but I can't imagine it's going to be greenlit. But maybe. I don't know. You'll be pleased to know that this is an origin story for her. This is why she's evil. And,
Is it take place in the mirror universe?
well, you're asking the wrong nerds. I didn't realize that there was also a 4th timeline that is still in play. I thought the
Yeah.
Mirror universe was one episode and done.
No,
In the original
Mirror's.
series.
Oh no, it's Mirror
on.
has been in almost everything. I don't think it was in Next Gen, but it was definitely in DS9.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they had something in Voyager. Definitely, like Lower Decks for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, and definitely in Disco.
Well, it's it's bad. I would say your mileage may vary, but it sounds like nobody's mileage is varying on this, and that everybody hates it. It's just awful.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Ugh.
Section 31, or Star Trek Section 31, is available on Paramount Plus for free.
Enjoy. Have a good time.
Okay.
Well, I
So are a
checked
lot of
out
everything.
on Apple Plus, of course, which has such incredible content.
God, yes.
Severance season 2 finally started. Did either of you
Yeah.
guys catch this?
Oh,
I
yes.
have not yet.
Okay, so they've got 2 episodes out at this point. I think it's really strong. I think it's still going well. I don't know. Like I did have to watch a remember where we're at YouTube video. 'Cause I was like, I don't
45 minutes long.
totally. I was like, I have no idea, and I don't have time to rewatch the entire show. But yeah, it's great. It's just great.
I thought they followed the format of the first season really well here, in that I was like, okay, what are we gonna do now? And instead, they were just like, here's something brand new. You're going to have a ton of questions. We're going to answer a bunch of questions that you had from last season.
From before.
But now I'm just like, what the fuck?
No, I love that they're like, we need to keep this guy around because of insert
Reason.
googly-gook words here. And you're like, what's googly-gook? What does that mean? And yeah, and they have a claymation section in the first episode, which is, I think it's claymation. It's very fun. It's like a little animated, like, welcome to work.
Oh, right.
I've seen
Yeah.
clips of that.
And
yeah.
it has, it's VO'd by Keanu Reeves, which is just a delight. So yeah, I'm so excited that it's back. I'm sorry that it had the production troubles it did, but hopefully it just keeps going.
One of the things I thought was really interesting, so that first season's opening credits were so disturbing, and then the first episode of the second season has no opening credits, and I was like, oh, they decided to get rid of that. And the second episode starts with a different set of opening credits that is weirder and creepier.
It's so weird. It's so weird. I was like, I can't look at this. Like, what is happening right now? You're just, it's like
That's
a
very cool.
Russian doll. Like, it just keeps going. Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still on my own alternate timeline right now after moving in with father-in-law, trying to figure out how to watch things. So it's like Silo's the one I glommed onto this weekend and watched like 5 of them. I was way behind.
Oh, yeah.
That's an episode and a half to go on that one. But I also watched a couple other things. Furiosa.
Finally
my
watched
God.
Furiosa.
Yeah, hitting the end of the year, and I wanted to hit at least a few of the huge ones that I hadn't seen.
I can't believe you hadn't seen this yet.
Yeah, this was that same thing with like Dune, where I was in the hospital for a month, feeling, if I go see a movie now, I'll feel like a complete ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I liked the one before it a lot more still.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's just because maybe a Marvel burnout of origin story shows, but it's good. It's still really good. I mean, it's still the battle scenes are crazy, which is of course cool. I like the guy they got in to be the driver with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't have worked time-wise, but it almost felt like, this would be interesting if this was Max.
I know.
He was
They give
definitely-
you that feeling.
He was definitely that archetype.
Yeah.
Yeah. They give him the jacket and they're really like kind of hinting towards that, but it's not.
And there's the shot.
I know.
from the-
so fucking
the next
stupid.
movie.
I wish that shot wasn't there. But anyway, aside from that,
But, fan service.
I guess.
Guess
That
so.
was George. That was a kill your baby moment.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
should-
you could have just drowned that one.
Or
Would've been
maybe
fine.
if you really had to have it, post-credit sequence.
Yeah, that would have
Would have been okay.
a good spot.
But Anna Taylor-Joy is, wow, so good in this film. And
Fantastic.
so disturbing. The Thor
Chris Hemsworth.
is almost distracting in his weirdness, which
I
fits
fucking-
the villain.
Yeah, I
The
thought
Mad Max
so
villain.
great.
Yeah, it fits it so well.
Yeah.
But like the first 2 scenes, I'm like, oh, okay, this is not Thor.
I know it takes a minute because Chris Hemsworth is so. I mean, they gave him like a nose,
The nose and
to try and get your brain out of it, but it does take a
but it's still
second.
his hair. He's
Yep.
still got all the look. He's kind of got armor and the cape and all that stuff going.
I think the gigantically thick accent helps.
That was great.
So
That was nice.
Nice to hear him.
I
in
assume all
his
natural.
voice.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't quite all natural. I don't know. Maybe he's done that in some movie.
I
But,
just meant the accent.
George Miller is just.
yeah, I really loved that the movie ends instead of a climax between the two. It's an anti-climax of them just kind of talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, boy, this is an interesting direction to take this. I don't know. I liked it better than Fury Road.
Cool. I
thought
could
it was
watch it again. And
I thought
like
it was
more.
a better actual story than Fury Road, which is just a chase
Action
scene,
movie. Yeah.
which I loved.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So
And
I'm
I also.
so glad you got to finally watch this.
And it also, just like with Dune 2, it dims a little bit because that would a big theater film for sure.
What's your because I know at your old place you had a big screen TV and surround sound setup and all that. Is that the situation at the new place?
No, not
Okay.
really. Yeah, it's kind of watching on the laptop.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, but we have we're moving our old TV over, so we might get it installed and other options may become available as the movement continues. But
Cool.
yeah, that was definitely a small screen. Sound is good, because headphones.
Excellent.
All right, guys. Well, I saw a movie in the theater
Oh.
called Wolfman.
Oh my God.
Okay. Of course you did, because of.
I am a
Yes.
I am a fan
Work
of
hard.
werewolves and werewolfery.
Not the Invisible Man.
No,
Wow, that's too bad.
no. I don't want to say it was bad. It was just not the movie I wanted to be called Wolfman.
Ah, okay.
Imagine my surprise when the final transformation of the creature is in fact that hideous picture we saw early on
Really?
that they
Oh,
said
no.
that's not what it's going to look like. That's exactly what it looks like. There's no werewolf in this movie.
Oh wow.
Oh.
There is,
wow.
I guess, a wolf man. He's
Sure.
scraggly looking and has sharp teeth. So that
yeah.
was part of my problem with it because I kept
Yeah.
thinking, I'm actually okay with how small this movie is. It's basically a family stuck in a tiny cabin with a creature kind of stalking them outside while one of them is turning into the creature inside also. And I was like, this is a very, very small movie.
Yeah,
If
weird.
the creature looked like a wolf walking on its hind legs, I would have been way more into it, quite honestly. I would have been like, this is a wolf man. So the acting is great. Julia Garner is fantastic.
Yeah.
The guy that they got for the lead, I'm not familiar with him. And I thought he was fine, but all I kept thinking was, who's my guy that I'm in love with from
From the new Marvel movie?
no, from what's the
Which
stunt,
guy?
the
There's so
stunt
many.
man
Franco
movie?
or
Ryan Gosling?
Gosling.
Oh, okay.
Because he was attached to this first.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
And then when Leigh Whannell came in, they were like very excited to work with each other. And then the pandemic shut them down. And by the time they were able to start up, Gosling is like, I've got like 6 other movies that are
Yeah.
going to pay a lot better than this that need to be done. So he is listed as an executive producer on it.
Oh, damn.
But I just kept thinking I would have bought this a lot more with his big soulful eyes.
Yeah.
And, so I don't know.
Is the film an allegory? Like Invisible Man is clearly talking about like abuse and how that manifests through this supernatural, not quite supernatural, I guess it's science fiction, but story.
Right.
But does this have a feeling like that?
Well, there's you could definitely pull some stuff about how a toxic parent passes down things because I mean that's blatantly exactly what happens in this movie. Is he's got a dad who's kind of hard on him and kind of distant and all this stuff, and then something horrible happens, and then 30 years later, he goes back to the family house, and then all this bad stuff starts happening to him.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's, I don't know. It was just a disappointment after The Invisible Man, and Leigh Whannell has such a cool history of films building up to this, and I was just like, man, I can't wait to see what he does. My real fear is that Universal will be like, well, this didn't work. We'll pull the plug on this whole Universal monster thing again.
Yeah.
So.
At least this one's probably a much, much lower budget version of what they had tried the second.
Yeah, with Ryan
time around.
Gosling, it might have had a boost in the budget. there.
Yeah, you'd think.
Well, I watched the first half of Squid Game season 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was really worried because I was like, I don't know how they're going to make this interesting and intriguing and like sit on the edge of your seat because we've already seen Squid Game, and the premise is that he's back in the Squid Game again. But I think they've done, it felt like a little bit of world building, kind of a slow start. But now that we're halfway through, it feels like it's at a really good clip. I love a lot of the new characters they've introduced. There's a lot of tensions from different sides of the spectrum. There's like a person who, you know, those guys with the masks and everything. One of those is a character that we're following, and they've got stakes in this as well. And so you're just sort of, I don't know, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. So it's a lot better than I thought it would be. I don't know if I'd say it's better than season 1, but I'm enjoying it for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people not liking it and not satisfied with the way it ended. I liked it a lot, and I was very satisfied. I thought the smart thing to do was trick you into thinking it's going to be the same, because the first Squid Game they play is the first
same
red light, green light game. And then the second one starts being a little different. And then by then he's just like, this is not how we did it. And so all these people that are kind of glommed onto him because they think he's going to save them now hate him. Because he doesn't know what's going on. And I was like, okay, this is a good way, because this sucked me in too.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, he's just going to breeze through this to get to whatever the rest of this story is. And yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Squid Game 2 on Netflix.
Well, I went on a weird quest to watch the next movie. There's a local cinema here in Seattle that's sadly closing, but hopefully relocating. And they posted this poster. It's the top half of the movie, and that whatever reason, sometimes the rights are weird and you can't advertise what you're showing. I think that's what it was, because underneath everybody's asking, what is this movie, what is this movie, what is it? And I'm like, what is this movie? so I searched for it and eventually found it. It's called Night of the Juggler.
Oh.
Which is a 1980s New York. It's gritty.
Yeah.
But when the description, I'm thinking, John D'Amato and some of the really gritty shit I've been watching, Severance and stuff. It's not that.
Okay.
It's definitely got a fair amount of racist language. It doesn't lean heavily into it to the point where it's like disturbing. It's uncomfortable just because it is. But the movie itself is really good.
Wow.
Yeah, really solid. Now, are you saying that the Grand Illusion was showing this film?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had known that.
Yeah, I would have told you, but I had no idea until like 2 days ago. And I think they showed, I think it was this weekend.
Okay.
They're recording this.
Yeah, this is a hard movie to find. You can't stream this anywhere, but you said it was on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. And it's definitely the complete film because, there's a lot of words that are said, like I said, by, who's the name? Cliff Gorman, who plays the villain in it. And the lead is James Brolin.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
With Julie Carmen, who I'm looking at going, she looks kind of familiar, but she's so much younger.
What do I
but
know
she's
her
the
from?
lead in The Mouth of Madness. She's
Okay,
the guy
that's
that
what I
takes
thought.
him
Fright Night 2.
to Hobbs' End. She's quite pretty in this
Beautiful.
film.
Yeah.
But the storyline is this guy who's a retired cop or a fired cop. His kid gets picked up off the street. I don't feel I'm giving away because this is established very quickly that the guy thought he was grabbing a kid of a wealthy family when in reality he grabbed this guy's kid.
Oh.
And they do a great job of setting up how that could happen. And they do a great job with what the family of the wealthy kid, how they react to what's going on. And a huge chunk of the movie is just James going balls out trying to catch this guy and getting insanely close several times. It is a really, really smart film, directed by Robert Butler and Sidney Fury, who need to have done more films.
Wow.
But yeah, it is on YouTube, so it's definitely worth checking out if you
I'm
haven't
watching
seen
that
it.
tonight for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
That's his movie right after Amityville.
Yes,
he had
same
become-
time. He looks the same. He's got the
Yeah.
full beard. I mean, I think it was released the same year even. But he looks a lot nicer in this one.
Yeah, he doesn't have the huge dark circles under his
Yes.
eyes.
But yeah, the director went on to do just every police drama in the 80s and a whole bunch of other stuff. But it's well worth checking out if you've got that inclination.
Man, I am very excited that you mentioned this. It's called Night of the Juggler.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a little break, guys? And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about David Lynch.
Here, she sent me this postcard from Great Northern. When they searched her room, all they found was this picture and this deer head.
Let's think about this over a coffee. No, Lucy? Incredible. You two have got to try this. It's rich. Man, oh man, this Georgia is damn fine coffee.
It's true.
What about this deer head?
Notice the symbol, Ken. I think you and I should take a drive. Big Ed's Gas Farm, Georgia.
It means
I don't know, Ken. Letter G. How about a couple of Georgia coffees while we think about it? Thank you, Lucy. Cooper, Hawk, you're gonna love Georgia coffee. It's brewed rich. Tastes incredible. Damn fine coffee, right? Right.
It's true.
Agent Cooper, look what happens when I connect the pins. The letter G. Good work, Andy. Ah, what's under that last pin? Glastonbury Grove, home of the Black Lodge. Georgia ni. That's where I'll find the Sami.
Watch.
The Black Lodge isn't in this world. Inside there's a red room. The Sami. Jojo. Great idea, Ken. Brewed rich. Tastes incredible. Georgia's all around.
And we are back. Are we back, Eric? Do we know we're back? We are recording.
Click, click. Yes.
Gang, we were all set up to talk about our favorite films of the last year, and then we lost a titan. I was watching everybody, just an outpouring of love for David Lynch. Man, this guy is beloved, even though his films are kind of fringe still.
Yeah. It was, you've seen big names. We've lost guys like Prince and Bowie and huge names recently, but I've never seen anything on the social media where it seems like everybody I know was posting about his loss. Like,
and a couple of people we know. I think it is so fucking ghoulish when somebody dies and then people start posting their pictures of when they met him and stood next to him and got a photo and all this. And I'm like, you guys, please talk about how much this person meant to you, all that stuff. Do not take this as a moment for you to get a bunch of likes and shit like that. It's just gross.
My favorite post was probably the guy who I think is Steve, who is probably the largest Lang.
Steve Lang, yeah.
The largest David Lynch fan I know. He posted a great picture of just his cat giving him little licks on his nose.
Yeah.
That seems appropriate because, I mean, he even, as the guy in charge of bringing guests for CryptCon Seattle, he would be brought in a lot of Twin Peaks people and a lot of Lynch-related people, which has been great because there's a lot of really great people that have worked with them.
Well, right. And we're up here in the Pacific Northwest. So, like, Laura Palmer's house is literally just, 12 blocks that way from me. So, it's a big deal up here.
Yeah. The Black Lodge was part of Cornish, but now it's...
Of course.
Yeah.
Tweedy Cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's just a huge part.
Well, let me just remind you a little bit of who David Lynch was. Born January 20th, 1946, died at the age of 78 on January 15th, 2025. Lynch studied painting and made short films before making his first feature-length film, the independent body horror film Eraserhead, which was 1977, which found success as a midnight movie. He then earned critical acclaim as well as nominations for the Academy Award for Best Director for the drama The Elephant Man. The mystery thriller Blue Velvet came in 1986, and the psychological drama Mulholland Drive in 2001. For his romantic crime drama Wild at Heart, he received the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. He also directed the space opera Dune in 1984, the neo-noir Lost Highway in 1997, and the road movie The Straight Story in 1999. And my least favorite film, maybe of all time, Inland Empire, 2006.
Yes. It's a tough one.
After The Elephant Man's success, George Lucas offered Lynch the opportunity to direct Return of the Jedi. Lynch declined, saying that he had next door to zero interest, and arguing that Lucas should direct the film himself, as the movie should reflect his own vision, not Lynch's. Lynch and Mark Frost created the ABC series Twin Peaks, for which he received 5 Primetime Emmy Award nominations, including Outstanding Directing and Outstanding Writing for a drama series. Lynch co-wrote and directed its film prequel, Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, and a 3rd season in 2017. Lynch was noted for his collaborations with various production artists and composers on his film and other productions. He frequently worked with composer Angelo Badalamenti, film editor Mary Sweeney, casting director Johanna Ray, and actors Harry Dean Stanton, Jack Nance, Kyle MacLachlan, Naomi Watts, Isabella Rossellini, Grace Zabriskie, and Laura Dern. So we're going to be talking about Lynch films, and for that, I'll go first. I chose from 2001 Mulholland Drive.
I can't believe it. I'm just so excited to be here. I'm in this dream place.
This one comes highly recommended.
Dream place. What are you doing?
Get out of the car.
Yeah. The girl is still missing.
What's wrong? I just don't know who I am. I wonder where you were going. Mulholland Drive. Come on, it'll be just like in the movies. We'll pretend to be someone else.
This is all an illusion.
You want to know who you are, don't you?
Where's this going?
Mulholland Drive.
It's been a very strange day.
Getting stranger.
You guys seen Mulholland Drive?
Yeah.
Of course.
This was a first-time watch for me.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay.
It was written and directed by David Lynch.
Yeah, amazing. That's, well, yeah.
Many short films, music videos, TV series, feature films, and even 152 episodes of a weather report.
So good.
He was a beloved character in the industry. This stars Naomi Watts, who has 95 credits, including The Ring 1 and 2, King Kong, Eastern Promises, Boss Level, and Goodnight Mommy.
Oh.
Also stars Laura Herring, who has 66 credits, including Little Nicky, The Punisher, Father of the Bride, and 142 episodes of something called Sunset Beach.
Oh.
I'm not familiar.
I think it's like a cop procedural show or something in Florida or something. I don't know.
This also stars Justin Theroux, who has 66 credits, including Your Highness, The Girl on the Train, and just recently, Beetlejuice. Before the credits begin, we get a bizarre and quite honestly very cheap-looking jitterbug scene that ends with Naomi Watts' character, Betty, smiling big like she's just won a contest. Then the real movie begins with an actress in the back of a car, and she is about to get murdered by 2 men, but a couple of kids racing down the road plow right into the car, ironically saving her and killing everybody else. So she wanders out of the car, dazed, and ends up hiding in a little bungalow in Los Angeles, the same one that Betty has arrived to stay at. Now, Betty is a young actress hoping to make it big in Hollywood, and the other actress conveniently has amnesia. She decides to call herself Rita. So the main story begins, which is Betty trying to help Rita remember who she is and why anyone would be trying to kill her. So it's a bit of a mystery in that sense. There's all sorts of fun David Lynch scenes, my favorite being a bumbling assassin who has shown up to kill a man and make it look like suicide, but when he tries to plant the gun on the dead man, he accidentally pulls the trigger again and shoots through the wall, injuring a woman on the other side. So he has to drag that screaming woman into the same room and then kill her there, so it makes sense for the crime scene. But then a custodian sees him, so he has to lure him into the room and kill him there in the same crime scene, and it just gets darker and funnier. There's a plot line about a Hollywood director who is trying to make a movie, but the mob is forcing him to use a different actress than he wants. And when he comes home, he finds his wife is having an affair with Billy Ray Cyrus, which I thought was funny. So he grabs his wife's jewelry box and pours paint into it, which I thought was excellent revenge. There's some pretty sexy sex scenes between the two women, and then a very uncomfortable masturbation scene when they break up, and then an ending that makes you realize you've been lied to during the entire film, and I did not appreciate it. It felt very much like this was a TV pilot that didn't get picked up and then was infused with a ton of money for extra scenes, and Lynch had to cook up an ending that probably was not what he originally planned, which is exactly what this film is.
Exactly.
Tagline, beware what you dream for. The grammar of which fucking infuriates me.
That's rough.
Trivia. The set of reels that was distributed to the movie theaters included a photocopied note from director David Lynch himself, giving special instructions to the projectionist. Specifically, he did not want the film to be centered vertically on the screen, but rather to, quote, allow more overhead, unquote, as the term in projectionist slang, to let the top part of the frame be more visible than the bottom part. This was because the film was originally made for TV with an aspect ratio of 16:9 in mind, without the projectionist's manual correction. The aspect ratio of the theatrical release would have resulted in heads being cut off at the top of the screen. Lynch also asked to raise the volume of the theater sound system by 3 decibels when the film was playing. The note ended with the words, "Your friend, David Lynch." This is because the film was originally filmed in 1999 on a budget of $8 million as a made-for-TV pilot, Mulholland Drive, just DR, period, the abbreviation for Drive. New scenes were filmed 1 year later on a $7 million budget given by the French film studio Studio Canal to wrap up the open ending, which had been left unresolved in the original version so that a TV series could follow. Director David Lynch initially resisted Studio Canal's offer to provide additional funds to complete the Mulholland Drive TV pilot as a feature film. Lynch's battles with ABC executives had left him with a negative feeling about the project, and he felt he had run out of ideas for the storyline. When he finally agreed to revisit the film, he found that all the sets had been destroyed, and all of the costumes and props had been released. Lynch claimed this setback actually proved a blessing in disguise when it finally generated new ideas and he was able to come up with a satisfying conclusion to the story. Not my favorite Lynch film. So I was glad that I watched this. This was a first-time viewing, and I think this pretty much completes my David Lynch viewing.
Really? Wow.
I've seen everything else because he only did a number of feature films.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, glad that I watched it. This is a fucking downer of a movie, you guys.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit. I mean,
Yeah.
you're left to kind of go, oh, okay, this is a dream, which I don't think was his intention with the TV pilot.
Sure. Yeah.
And everything was in her head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely a parable for how horrible Hollywood is and what it does to people who, you know, when you think about who an actor or an actress is, at the end of it, you come down to someone who just is craving your attention, but also has very low self-esteem. So, you know, they're easy targets for being hurt very badly by the film industry. Have fun with this one, you guys.
Yeah. Before we start my section, that sort of note from Lynch to the projectionist really reminds me of my first time viewing Eraserhead on DVD. I had a little CRTV that was maybe 10 inches, and it starts with him telling you how to dial in the blacks. Like he tells you, like, okay, go into your menu, go find this setting, change these things, and then hit play. It was just absolutely crazy. I did it, but
you could on your CRT.
yeah, it had just enough of those, like, you know, the big, you press menu and big green font pops up like VCR style, and you go through, and yeah.
I love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I should have done Eraserhead. I think you did Eraserhead for a different episode.
No, I did
Elephant
Elephant Man.
Elephant Man, okay.
Yeah.
I would have.
I might have done Eraserhead at one point.
Okay. Did we do a David Lynch? Okay.
I don't think so. At least not when I was here.
All right. Well, Vanessa, how about you Start next.
Yeah,
5
so
minutes.
I went with a film of his that I remember the least. I think I've seen everything of his at this point, but Wild at Heart from 1990.
Can I talk to Lula?
You are not gonna see him ever.
I'd go the far end of the world for you, baby.
A man can't ask for more than that.
You move me, Sale. You really do.
You want me to shoot Sailor in the brains with a gun?
Uh-oh. I didn't have much parental guidance.
Baby, you better run me back to the hotel. You got me hotter than Georgia asphalt.
This whole world's wild at heart and weird on top.
Was a film that I have not seen in a very, very long time and hardly remembered. This is, of course, both written and directed by David Lynch, and it's based on a book by Barry Gifford, starring Nicolas Cage, Laura Dern, Diana Ladd, which is Laura Dern's actual mom, Harry Dean Stanton, William Dafoe, and several cast members were culled from the then active TV series Twin Peaks, which temporarily left to make this film, including Sherilyn Flynn, Grace Zabrowski, David Patrick Kelly, Cheryl Lee, Jack Nance, and Francis Bay. Plus, Isabella Rossellini, Crispin Glover, and you just keep watching it and going, you look vaguely familiar. You also look vaguely familiar. Are you guys famous yet or not famous? I'm not sure. The story is at a theater event, Lula meets up with her boyfriend Sailor at the end of a show. Sailor runs into a man who says he heard a rumor that Sailor was off in the bathroom a moment ago with Lula's mother. He says he's been paid to take care of him, and Lula then sees the man has a knife and warns Sailor, who then bashes the man's head in just into various objects around the theater hallway and kills him in a really gross manner. Sailor goes to jail for manslaughter for 22 months, but it was defense, so he's not murderer, he's a manslaughterer, as they point out many times. And when he gets out, Lula is ready to run away with him. Her mother, however, wants Sailor out of the picture and has her boyfriend, a private eye, follow him and them around to try and catch up with them. But when she gets anxious, she also ends up hiring an old acquaintance, Santos, who is basically runs like an assassin guild. He promises he will go ahead and kill Sailor, but also kind of hints that maybe he's going to kill Johnny, her boyfriend, even though she's like, no, you're not going to kill Johnny. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to kill Johnny. And you're like, oh God, Johnny, run, Johnny. Lula and Sailor decide to break his parole and run off to California together. They were previously out in South Carolina, North Carolina area. They venture onto a road trip filled with sex, surrealist visions, and airy conversations, and a range of strange characters who all seem to have it out to separate or kill them. The most determined, of course, is her mother, who is obsessed with offing Sailor and kind of in love with him. This isn't just a straightforward story of two star-crossed lovers, but a mashup with Wizard of Oz and Elvis fandom. There are constant nods to Wizard, including her mother being a witch, seeing her in visions, riding a broomstick alongside their car in the dark. She also looks at a crystal ball to see them several times, and the amber waves of grain that they drive through really act like the yellow brick road. There's also curled toes, ruby red shoes. There's a lot. There's a lot, and constant references to Wizard of Oz. In addition, Nick Cage just breaks out into songs sometimes and both acts and talks like Elvis. In one scene, they are at a heavy metal club where he takes the mic from the heavy metal guys, starts to sing and croon, and all the female metalheads just become screaming fangirls, which is very weird and also hilarious. I thought this was mostly pretty slow and boring. It's high drama through dialogue and physicality. It's a lot of over the topness. I feel like every beat has 2 to 3 scenes too many attached to it. You're just like, why are we back here? Why are we looking at you again? But it also gives it a more surrealist feeling because of that. The hitmen and the mom side of the story kind of sucks because you really want to just spend time with Dern and Cage, who are really awesome. There is so much sex and nudity, so much fucking sex and nudity. It was very uncomfortable for me to watch. Once at the hotel, they find a hotel that they go off to for a little while. It becomes kind of a plodding chore to keep watching. I wish that they had really shortened that part of the film. But this is a very vibes-based movie. I will say my favorite part is definitely when they go past a car crash on the side of the road and get out to try and help people. And it's a really haunting scene. So little bit of trivia. Lynch focused this film on the idea of love and hell. During filming, Laura Dern passed out when David Lynch asked her to smoke 4 cigarettes at once in one deep inhalation. When she came to, she saw a worried Lynch standing above her asking, "Tidbit, are you all right?" Laura Dern broke her no nudity clause for this film, and boy, howdy did she. Of course, this film was debuted at the 1990 Cannes Film Festival in the 2,400-seat Grand Auditorium. After the screening, it received wild cheering from the audiences. And when the president of the jury, Bernardo Bertolucci, announced While It Hurt got the Palme d'Or, the boos were almost drowned out by the cheers, with film critic Roger Ebert leading the vocal detractors. Barry Gifford remembers that there was a prevailing mood that the media was hoping that Lynch would fail. So there's a lot of drama around that award.
That's weird.
Yeah.
So strange. So.
Yeah. I feel like if you like Twin Peaks, though, this is a really good watch because it has some very similar soap opera-y vibes. Like it feels very much of that time. So if you're an obsessive for Twin Peaks, then definitely, check out Wild at Heart.
I was telling Eric that Wild at Heart is my favorite Lynch film.
Oh, okay.
But that's because it's my favorite David Lynch film. The Elephant Man is actually my favorite film that he's made, but it does not feel like a David Lynch film.
Like the exception of like a scene or two.
Yeah.
But
but all the things that you hated about this movie are the things that I love about this movie.
No, and I accept that these are very Lynchian tropes. I think I just wasn't in a headspace to really I don't know. I didn't love some of the characters we were spending so much time with.
Yeah.
And so that made it a little bit tough. But man, they did something to Willem Dafoe's gums, and that was unwatchable. I was like, oh, we got to stop looking at this man's mouth.
Yeah, Bobby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. But I will say, and in opposite to Mulholland Drive, this is a dark fucking film with a happy ending.
Yeah, kind of surprisingly happy ending. Now, did you guys know this was based on a book?
Yes.
Did you know that there's a sequel to the book?
No.
Did you know that there's a film based on the sequel to the book? So if you want to see the further adventures of Sailor and Lula, you can. I can't remember what the movie is called, but somebody told me they watched it and they were like, tough to follow a David Lynch film with some other director.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is singular. Mm-hmm. Before you start that, I want to say a couple quick things on Lynch. I discovered him relatively young, I guess, for these kind of films. It was a Blue Velvet, Amadeus, same year. Same year, it became where I realized movies are more than just this, like, Ordinary People and Kramer versus Kramer being the adult films of the time.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? This is something crazy. And one thing I liked reading about when I was reading about him working with people, everybody seemed to love him.
Yeah.
His sets were very comfortable, even though his content is so weird. He wasn't a psychotic weirdo. He was weird.
Yeah.
But he was professional, loved what he was doing, and seemed to love the people he's working with. Wanted to mess with their characters, but not mess with the actors. I don't know. It's just nice to hear that about a truly proficient and talented director, as opposed, the stories about Hitchcock and stories about some of the other directors. Like, cool. God.
Yeah.
When Laura Dern said she broke her nudity clause, she said this was such a comfortable set. She felt so at ease. I was like, there's such a long scene of somebody like messing with your nipple that like, this is very strange that this was like not a problem. But
Arquette did the same thing for this film. I don't think I have it in my notes, but she in the final desert scene, she said, anybody on set that doesn't need to be here, I'm going to walk over and punch you in the face. She said
So
30 people immediately left.
So good.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me give you 5 minutes, Eric. You're going to be talking about.
I'll be doing a movie 7 years after yours and 4 years before yours.
Oh.
Right in the middle there with Lost Highway.
We've met before, haven't we?
I don't think so.
At your house, don't you remember?
No, I don't.
As a matter of fact, I'm there right now.
That's crazy, man.
Call me.
I like that.
I think there's no such thing as a bad coincidence.
I like to remember things my own way, not necessarily the way they happened.
Someone broke in and taped us while we slept.
Is that you? Are both of them you?
We have to get out of here.
Why didn't you tell me anything?
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
If I ever found out somebody was making out with her.
He'll kill us.
I told you I was here.
How'd you do that?
Ask me.
From 1997. We don't do the Rottens much, but this one I was intrigued with because the people loved it a lot more than the critics. I mean, it was 69 from the critics, but it was 87 from that. But anyway, it's directed by and written by, but also had Barry Gifford on as writer, who wrote City of Ghosts and Wild at Heart. Bill Pullman, of course, who is well known for ID4, little film. He played the president there, Sleepless in Seattle, Newsies, Serpent in the Rainbow, which I've talked about, and Brain Dead. Patricia Arquette from my favorite Tarantino film, not directed by him, True Romance, and Boyhood, Severance, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. John Rosales from Mars Attack, Devil in the Blue Dress. Whole bunch of people, as always. Henry Rollins is in it. Michael Massey is in it. Richard Pryor, Robert Blake in a creepy as hell role. Pivotal, creepy, but not in a lot. And of course, Balthazar Getty, who is in a very unique role. So the movie starts off with amazing opening credits of the highway just going at night. Somebody speeding down a highway with the yellow markers going down through the middle of the scene. It's kind of not perfectly in focus. It looks very cool. The way the credits come up impacts that as they fly towards the screen and then fly off. I just thought, oh, this is very cool. Although it does kind of promise more action and movement than the end movie probably has. It's very actiony feeling. But anyway, so then it immediately cuts to complete total silence and a close up on Bill Pullman, who's a sax player who apparently played the sax in this film, which after listening to him play, going, I can see that, because it's very much kind of like Inland Empire, where the cello is played really weird. He plays some weird sounding saxophone in this movie. So whether you think he's good or not, well, I'll leave that up to you to decide. Arquette plays his wife in this role. She finds an unlabeled tape in the front of the house, and it's a video of the house, just the exterior. Oh, look, red curtains. There's part of what I love about Lynch's films is they're very deliberate. The look of this house is strange, but it doesn't clash. It's got the TV for some reason is sitting on two weird things, but the couch is also strange looking. The colors on the walls are all muted. This doesn't look like anything on that set was a surprise, happy surprise. Later on, a second tape arrives. This one goes all the way into their bedroom where you see the two of them sleeping. So they call the cops. A good old Laurel and Hardy looking cops show up. They're not funny, but they're shaped like Laurel and Hardy. And Bill Pullman then delivers the line that I think I've seen Lynch do this time and again, where he says, "What's your movie about?" He says like one sentence. I think this is what this movie's about. Bill Pullman's, why do you hate video cameras? And he's like, I like to remember things my own way, how I remembered them, not necessarily the way they happened. Like, well, shit. Then Robert Blake shows up to fuck up the whole film and switch everything from being somewhat uncomfortable to incredibly creepy in a great scene where he's like, I'm at your house now. Like, call me. It's just like, holy shit, it is such a great scene. I just love that one. And Blake looks different, but there's no disguise in his voice, man. As soon as he says anything, oh yeah, that is definitely Robert Blake. After that, it becomes really surreal for a little while. I'm going to give away what isn't, I have a hard time calling spoilers in Lynch films. So one of the biggest strange things about this movie, and anybody who's seen it always talks about it, Bill Pullman goes to jail for murder, and one day, some different guy is sitting in his cell. What's his name? Balthazar Getty, one of the great names of Hollywood, is in the jail now. And it's not like this is a mystery. The the jail guy immediately goes, who the hell is this? And the movie then switches to, for about 20 minutes, kind of trying to figure out who the guy might be, and then sort of forgetting that that's what's going on. And we just sort of follow his story, where he's kind of on the edge of being a criminal and also screwing his life up pretty bad. But Arquette shows up again in maybe a different role, maybe not. This is a neat film. Let's see if I've got anything that just has to be said in the thing. Lynch, which I find this one kind of ironic. Lynch's comments and why Bill Pullman hated video cameras, because at the time, which he apparently got completely over, he hated video cameras. David Lynch thought they were terrible and didn't want them involved until, of course, Inland Empire came along. All the numerical digits in the license plate add up to 7. License plates in the movie that you see add up to 7.
Wow.
Okay.
Like I said, deliberate filmmaker. There are not a lot of accidents happening in his films. David Lynch issued a poster when Siskel and Ebert gave a negative review, and it said 2 more reasons to see Lost Highway. But I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the first half a lot more because it's really weird. It feels quote unquote Lynchian. The second half is very straightforward. It's just a guy kind of screwing up his life, but then it ends and it goes completely batshit crazy again with the ending. Overall, I enjoyed this film because, like you were saying, you maybe weren't in a mindset. I was absolutely in the mindset for a Lynch film.
Nice.
I remember as it's starting up, I'm going, because I I pretty sure I'd seen it, but I remembered very little about it.
Yeah.
So I'm going, and to me, when you're about to watch somebody you consider a master, somebody who's really good, I think it's exciting. And I felt that as this movie started. I'm going, oh yeah, cool. And it was great. I really enjoyed even the stuff. I'm like, so it's all right. It's still better done than most people's films.
Oh yeah.
Because the acting is still always top notch.
Yeah. I find this a frustrating film.
Yes. No argument here.
Because the first half is so creepy and so weird, but there's literally no explanation for why Robert Blake can be talking to him on the phone, why he's in his house while he's standing there at the party and all that stuff. And I was like, Jesus, this is fucking terrifying, some of this stuff.
Yeah,
and then nothing. And I saw this in the theater, and the whole Balthazar Getty thing, I was just like, what is happening here? I don't get this movie. But it goes back to Eric and I, we saw Inland Empire with David Lynch in attendance. And he brought out that
celloist, I think it was.
Cellist who, he's like, and now some improvisational cello.
Oh my God.
And this guy sits down and goes, wah, 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 wah. And Eric and I are just like,
what the hell's going on?
I was like, I think he is insane. I don't think he's pretending to be insane. I think he's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So
I think he sees the world through a very specific lens.
Yes.
I saw him also for Inland Empire give a in-person talk.
Was that here? Or
no, it was in London.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I stood outside the BFI in a snowstorm and was on the wait list. Cool. And it was really cool, but he was talking a lot about his beliefs in transcendentalism and electricity. And I mean, like the way he just sees the world and our place in it and the way that life exists was so unique that I think in his head, a lot of these things are not really about these characters and not really about these scenes, but about some deeper dread, the feeling of dread or the feeling of loneliness or the feeling of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably why all things about him seemed to point when he was on set was when he was the most comfortable and the most relaxed, because he just always his Oscar campaign for Inland Empire, where he sat out with a giant poster and a cow in a chair.
Yes. Laura Dern was nude for they went down like the middle of LA or something, and she was on the cow riding it nude.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that aspect of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember a standing ovation after Inland Empire. And I was like, what did you guys watch? I just watched an incoherent mess that looked awful on
I
a
like
big
the
screen.
bunnies.
The bunnies were great.
Yeah, I wish the whole film was the bunnies, honestly.
The bunny soap opera was really interesting. But otherwise,
I mean,
it's just a bunch of people smelling their own farts in that theater. Like,
for sure. 1,000%. I struggled to stay awake through Inland Empire. It was a hard watch. But I mean, with David Lynch, I feel like Eraserhead is basically an autobiographical story. And when that is the truest to himself in that moment of his life, then that's the kind of person you're working with.
One of the big memes I kept seeing was like, I feel that's a very spiritual film to me. It's like, well, could you care to explain? Nope.
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't watch it because I did not want to rewatch it having just had a kid, because I understand sort of where he was emotionally and his almost like rejection of parenthood. And I was like, I don't think I can handle watching this movie right now.
Sure.
But it's, I mean, like, it's so honest and in such a weird fucking way.
Yeah. It's a good film. He did look, man. Nothing else. Have you either seen The Straight Story?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a film.
It's a great film.
I was thinking of doing it.
Yeah. That's what I was like,
I'm same with it. I was like, do I want to give myself just an easy week?
Nice, relaxing.
Well, for me, if nothing else, this episode just reminded me that I am a big fan of David Lynch, the man.
Yeah.
And not as big a fan of David Lynch, the artist.
I became a bigger fan of his as a person because I'd actually not read a lot about him as a person. I read more here than I had.
Yeah.
But I find, like I said, he was one of those click movies for me. Like Island of the Island of the Dead at AAFI, where I suddenly learned to like a certain kind of film.
Right.
This was a click film for me, where it went from movies can be something very different than what you see on HBO or whatever at the time. So I may not always like his stuff, and I may find some of his stuff incredibly frustrating, but I still like Inland Empire. I saw it used at like half price books or something.
Sure.
And I ended up buying it. It's like, because I kept thinking about this weird I haven't watched it since then, but I have it for some damn reason. Because even though it drove me nuts, and it was funny because Marty was at that screening too, and he was
wow.
he was furious.
Like, what is going on? But so I don't know. It just sticks with you. Even I'm sure people out there that actually hate him, but you still know who he is, and there's a reaction you're getting.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
it makes you feel something, for sure, even if that's a really negative thing.
Yes. Sometimes, very much so.
Yeah, well, he will be missed.
Yeah.
Okay, gang. So normally we would go back to what we were going to do, but we are late on our best of 2024 stuff.
That's right.
So that's what we're going to be talking about for the next episode.
For February.
Yeah, well, gave us a chance to watch a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
So true.
Yeah, that's true. Like Furiosa.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is the part where we say thanks to everybody who's out there supporting the podcast in whatever way you can, whether it's through monetary donations, which we are huge fans of. Thank you very much for that.
Yes,
or if you're just out there liking, sharing posts, if you're out there commenting and having discussions with us on the Strange Eons Radio Talk page, which is on Facebook. If you're just even leaving a little comment or a heart on the YouTube stuff, all of this stuff gets somehow mashed into an algorithm that I don't understand, but makes us more visible if somebody is searching for stuff like that. So we thank you so much. We call that value for value. We've given you a value. You have now given us a value back by discussing the film. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
You can also call and leave a message on the Strange Eons Radio hotline, which is 253-237-4266, and leave us a message.
Yeah.
Tell everybody how much they like Vanessa, which is literally the only messages we get.
Yes. Winning.
And DeBronzo will answer your questions probably too.
That's
Just
true.
Much delayed than our answers will be.
That's very true. All right, gang. I am really looking forward to our best of next week.
Oh, yeah.
And I will see you guys then. We will see you then. 7 short days. See you next Thursday.
Transportation and other considerations for Strange Eons Radio, produced by Pan Am Airlines. When you think of traveling, think of Pan Am. You can't beat the experience. Guests of Strange Eons Radio stay at Econo Lodge Everett. It's an easy stop on the road, you know what we mean. Strange Eons Radio is recorded live in front of a studio audience. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a positive review on your favorite podcast app. Sit, Ubu, sit.
Like, I'm going to be in real trouble if UPS ever actually needs me to, like, confirm a package.